Hello guys, my name is Jiangbo Tan. I'm going to talk about how to deploy a Java application from Eclipse to AWS Elastic Beanstalk. As Professor Zara mentioned in lecture 12, that there are a couple of options we can use to deploy an application to AWS. One of them is AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Another one is OpsWorks. Also, there are cloud formation, and also you can just provision all the resources you need and put them together manually. As you can see that all these options from as it goes to this side, it's more convenient and the less work you need to do it yourself. Going to this side gives you more control, but of course, and it's not so convenient. So this figure shows a basic software development life cycle with AWS Elastic Beans integrated. Basically, start with you develop your application locally, and you test it locally, and you deploy the application to AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Then you test it remotely, and you view your log if there's anything wrong, or just make sure everything is correct. Then you deploy to production. So today I'm going to talk about more is how to deploy your application to AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Before going to the demo, I will just give a brief introduction and what it is and how it works. So basically, what you need to do to use Elastic Beans, you just need to upload your application, and the Elastic Beanstalk will do automatically the following. It will do capacity provisioning, and also set up your load balancing, the auto scaling, and application health monitoring. So it does all that using because it uses AWS resources. For example, it uses Elastic Compute Cloud, and that will be just in the community service, and also use simple storage service S3. You can imagine your application will be stored in a bucket or as an object in S3. Also use a simple notification service sometimes, and I use a CloudWatch, and this will be a mechanism to triggering an auto scaling event, and you also use load balancing. So there are some terminologies about how you use Beanstalk. First of all is application. Application is a logical collection of AWS Elastic Beans components, including environments, versions, and environment configurations. So a version refers to a specific labeled iteration of a deployable code. So this just pay attention to a specific label version of deployed code, and this basically points to S3 object that contains the deployable code. For example, a Java web archive file. Then also the environment, it refers to a specific version connected to this one, a specific version that is deployed onto AWS resources. And remember, the version is actually deployable. It actually hasn't been deployed by being actually saved in S3, but the environment is a specific version that has been deployed. And environment configurations, that is how you actually is a collection of parameters and settings that define how an environment and its associated resources behave. So this is required for you to, using a version and to change it to an environment. I know it's a little bit confusing with all this wording stuff, but look at this following picture, make it clear. So you start with, you have different versions of your application. They will be saved in S3 bucket. Now you want to deploy, one of those versions, or maybe multiple ones. For example, if you have version 1, you deploy it into Elastic Beanstalk, and that will actually become an environment. But for you to deploy that application, you need the parameters and the settings from the environment configurations. You need that. doesn't mean each version will be a single environment. You can use the same version you deploy into a different environment, and of course you probably use a different environment configurations. And also you can just use a different version, make it into a different environment. So all those three component parts, your versions and your environment configurations, they all make up the application, which is a logical connection of all the component. Hope that actually makes it clear. Next time I'm gonna just talk about what's the software installation prerequisite before you can actually follow the demo. I'll be showing you shortly. So I presume that you have installed Eclipse. The version I use in the demo is a Kepler. I think it's the latest version right now. And also assume that the Java development kit has been installed. Yeah, it's obvious. I use JDK 1.6045 right now, and I think there's some saying you need to use 1.6 for the AWS applications for now. And also remember to set the compile and the GLE to Java 1.6 in Calypso preference. I will show that when we go into the demo. And also presumes that AWS software development kit SDK for Java has been installed, and you should provide your AWS account credentials by visiting the preference tab of AWS for Calypso. Again, to test the software locally, we need Apache Tomcat being installed and being set up correctly. So with all that, we can go into the demo. And the demo consists of several steps. The first step is creating an AWS Java web project in Calypso. And because I don't have a real world running application, I'm just using a kind of a tutorial application or sample application being provided by AWS. And okay, I'm gonna create the PowerPoint and go into the AWS. To Eclipse. Okay, so first let's just create AWS web project. So I'm just going to go File, New, Project, going to AWS Java web project. Name the project as say Travelog, and I've just used, as I said, I use this demo project, Travelog, and I want the service to be US East and English. Okay, then you just go finish. Alright, so the project is being showed up here, Travelog. And as I said, the preference, we need to take care of that. It is in the window here, the preference. You go to Java, and you go to compiler here. So you need to set the compiler compliance level to 1.6. If you use 1.7 or something else, you better set it up. Okay, sorry for that. You go just OK. Now also for the project, right, you need to make sure it's on application okay, I'm gonna go over a little bit, sorry for that. Okay, with that, and first thing, right, this is a pay setup video. So next thing I'm gonna do is just test it locally. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna right click that and say run as, and I'm gonna say run on server. Okay, and you can see there are multiple options. You have AWS. I'm gonna manually define a new server here. You have Amazon Web Services. You have Apache. This one is refers to my local installation of Apache server. I'm gonna use Tomcat 7.0, and the server name, I just leave everything the same, and I'm just gonna go click next. and click finish. Alright, it will start saying in your console, saying it's trying to start the Apache server, and alright, so looks like it worked, and the travelogue and being showed up and being actually showed up on the website. This is testing locally. It looks like everything is okay, right? Next time I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna test with deploy it to Elastic Beanstalk. So to do that, I'm just gonna go here again. I'm going to right click travelogue, and I'm just gonna say one as, and again one on server, right? This time also doing manually define a new server, but instead of a local Apache server, I need to go I will go to Amazon Web Services, and I want to do AWS Elastic Beanstalk for Tomcat 7, and I leave everything the same, and I'm gonna go next. Alright, it says the region for you to deploy. I use US East, and again ask you to create a new application. If you recall, this application refers to a logic connection of all the components for Elastic Beanstalk for a specific your web project. So I'm saying this is my travel log. Alright, this is the environment, right? This environment is a deployed specific version of your application. So I'm just saying, my travelogue environment. Okay, and I'm just gonna again go next. Now, if I normally just if something goes wrong, I would like to go into the server to see what's going on. So I deploy it with a key pair. You can use your original key, or you can make a new one. I'm just gonna use the ones, the original ones I have. I use this one. You can also configure SS certificate and the second name, say names, and here is the trick, right? The application health check URL. I think you need to type to home/home.do. Alright, and also use incremental deployment. That means it only, if you have a new version, it only actually makes a change. It's not doing, if you do a new deployment, it won't actually just make a whole new thing. So with that, I'm just going to go finish. Okay, and let's check the server here in Eclipse. I have my local Tomcat server right here, and I have my travel log at AWS in Elastic Beans. This is in US East, and it says starting everything. Now when it's being started, we can go to the slides, talk about a little bit about it. Okay, that's the first step. We have already done that, and the second step, this is how we basically test locally. We haven't showed that too. And step 3, we just did that. We deploy onto Elastic Beanstalk, and this step is important. I know some similar videos on the web, they use just a slash, which refers to the root directory, but at least for me it doesn't work. So during the deployment, you can say, you can just go to the web console or AWS web console to say that related AWS being started, like your EC2 instance, load balance, everything. You can also visit Elastic Beanstalk, for console to check the status of the deploying. You can check the log if everything goes wrong. I'm not going to show you all those right now. So I'm just going to go to a web browser. Alright, I'm ready to log in. I'm just gonna log in to AWS. Okay, let's just check my Elastic Beanstalk right here. Okay. Okay. It looks like I don't have anything running right now. Let me check what's going on. Okay, it probably just takes some time. Okay, eventually it comes up, and it still shows gray. If you click, this is all your application. My travelogue is my application. My travelogue environment is a deployed application. so it still says launching, right? And if we go to the other AWS services, for example EC2, okay, we can see one instance still 0. Okay, maybe let's just check load balances. It has to create a load balance. Yes, it tries to create a load. I think I created a load balance. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. This should be it. And let's check instance again. Alright, it's still not coming up, and but eventually it will be. So we can go back to Elastic Beanstalk. We're still trying to get the application up. Alright, still launching. It takes a while, like several minutes. I'm gonna actually pause the video and come back several minutes later. Okay, 7 minutes passed, and it looks like the application has been deployed to Elastic Beans successfully, and the health check has been green, and on the bottom it shows some recent events. So just in case something goes wrong, right, and you can check the logs here. What you do is the logs will be saved in S3 buckets. You can go there, to look at it manually, but you can just, click here, take a snapshot of the logs, and it will just give you the most recent log events, and it shows up here. You can just have a look and see what's going on. Okay, and let's with that ready, and we can go back to the PowerPoint slides, because that was during the deployment. And after the deployment has successfully, we can confirm it has been deployed. We will do that a little bit later. You can also manually modify the environment configurations. You can change the minimal and maximum instances, triggering conditions, etc. in auto scaling. I'll show you that too. So that means it's not like Elastic Beans where I just do anything for you and you can change anything. You can, but just not as flexible as other options for deployment. And you can also enable change other configurations too. Alright, let's go to the application. Alright. Okay. First thing, let's go to the dashboard. Right. This is URL you can click to see if your application is up and running. I'm just gonna do that. I'll click that. It shows up my travel log and signs in. Looks like the application is up and running within on Elastic Beanstalk. Right. Let's go back to the console, and you can change the configurations as I said. You click configuration here. For example, you can change auto scaling. All right. Says like auto scaling minimal instance count is 1, maximal is 4. You can change all those, and you can change, custom availability zones and the scaling triggers. You can all change that. Okay, again, you can change the instance. For example, instance type. This one right now is T1 micro. You can change it to different other ones. So as I said, you can still modify those. All right, and let's go back to the slides. So what's next? Haven't covered in this video is you how to connect to your next Beans versions with version control software, for example, with Git or right. And we haven't to talk about this HTTPS and SSL configuration for Elastic Beans. Another important thing is we need to configure a database for real application, so that has not been covered here either. But anyways, time is limited, and last is acknowledgements, thanks to Professor Zhang and also our teaching assistant. And also I need to mention that the sources of some of the image used in this presentation, they were not explicitly listed, but my credits to the authors of all the images. And that ends my video, and hope you guys can repeat the results and enjoy it. Thank you.